If I had to pick one problem that I think is common across pretty much every VA case I work on, it's the fact that it is very hard to get the VA to pay attention to what I'm trying to tell them, to get them to understand even sometimes the basic point of the argument that I'm trying to make on behalf of a veteran. And once I can do that, it seems like the odds of winning start to go up by a lot. But getting there sure feels like half the battle. I'm not going to spend a lot of time complaining about the VA here and how, they should do better and all of that stuff. You certainly don't need a YouTube video from me to complain about the VA. It's far better to spend our time thinking about things that we can actually do to try and solve that problem, to try to get a human's attention and start to make those points and start to get them to see the case the way that we would like them to see it. One of the things we can do is try and take full advantage of VA forms. And really, this applies to all VA forms, but right now I'm specifically referring to things like the claim form or the supplemental claim form. When you're filling out that form and you get to the part where they want you to describe the disability and what caused it and when the last decision was, they give you this little box and they want you to write all of it in those discrete boxes. You don't have to do that. You can, spill over into the next line if you need to. You can use that space to try and make certain points. For example, let's say you're trying to do the always difficult sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. Now, if that's all you put, my PTSD caused my sleep apnea, you'll probably get a C&P exam that says, did PTSD cause sleep apnea? And the VA will come back and say no, and they won't actually look any deeper at all of the things that PTSD caused that might lead to sleep apnea. So instead, if you write on that form, my PTSD caused me to have a drinking problem, which caused me to gain weight and become obese, which ultimately led to sleep apnea. Please request a C&P exam that addresses that entire chain of causation. Something else you could write is, please flag the following records for any C&P examiner. And then list the records. Now, this is a little harder to do if you're filing your claim through va.gov because the web forms don't always give you that latitude. But get creative. Use the spaces you're given to the maximum effect, especially when you're in that zone where you're describing your condition and how it started. The main idea here is that at some point in time, a human is going to have to look at that claim form so that they can process the claim, schedule exams, and do any other development that they need to do. So you've got a tiny window of time where you will have a human's attention. So if you can sneak an argument in there or sneak reference to a very important record in there, you can maybe give yourself an edge and maybe put that idea in that VA employee's mind, and hopefully it might lead to the correct C&P exam when earlier, or if you hadn't done that, they might have ordered the wrong exam. One of the most important parts of that, though, is that you have to keep everything brief and to the point. Now, especially if you're working on one of those forms. I'm telling you to take full advantage of the space and spill over into other lines, but even if you do that, you have an extremely tight area where you have to fit all that stuff in. So you have to make it count. Every word has to count. Don't ramble, don't waste time. This also applies to lay statements. You want to keep it short and to the point. Think about the last time you opened a long text or a long email and you looked at it and you said, nope, and you just went on living your life. You didn't give it a second thought. VA employees are humans too. And when they open a lay statement and it's, 27 pages of 0.8 size font, they're just not going to read it. And so all of that good stuff that you worked so hard to put in there, it's nothing. You might as well have said nothing because they're just not going to read it. My point here is be as disciplined as you can, be as tight with your writing as you can, make every word count. Don't rant and ramble. This is part of the reason why I encourage people to write their lay statements over several days. There's a lot of reasons for that I'm pretty sure I've already covered somewhere else. But you also want to take at least a day or two to edit it. Finish writing it, let it sit, then come back and start to review it. Now, the first thing you want to do is try and step back and ask yourself, is somebody who is not me able to understand what I'm saying here? And a good way to do that is to get somebody who's not you to actually read it and tell you if they understand it. Be sure to pick someone who'll tell you the truth, by the way. The other thing to think about is how many times you repeat yourself. Once you've made a point and you see it later in your lay statement, you really need to ask yourself if you need to say it again. Now, some important points bear repeating, but if you repeat yourself, do it on purpose. Don't do it because you're rambling and ranting like someone's old grandpa. Same goes for your arguments, your oral arguments. So if you are in a higher level review informal conference, or if you're arguing in front of a judge at the board, know your points and get to them as quickly as you can. Say, this is the main point. I want you to know this, and hit it hard. And then to go back to lay statements for a minute, use headings. Like if your lay statement covers several different disabilities or several different PTSD stressors, whatever the case may be, put a line in there that says, shoulder injury, and then write about the shoulder, and then put a line in there that says knee injury, and then start talking about the knee. If you can make the reader's job as easy as possible, then you increases the chance that they're going to read it, which increases the chance that they're going to, start to see it from your perspective, and it increases the chance that you're going to go on to win. The last point, which is also the hardest point, is that you have to be patient and you have to keep trying. You have to expect the VA to get it wrong the second, third, even fourth time. It's gonna happen. Accept that going in, and know that after every decision, you will have a year to file either a supplemental claim or an appeal of some kind. Take advantage of that, go back to the drawing board, get your evidence, and start again. I am and always will be a short-term realist and a long-term optimist, which means that I believe if you've got a good claim and you keep plugging away at it, eventually you will get that claim in front of somebody who's paying attention, and that person will get it on the right path. And ultimately, you'll end up where you need to be. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like me to help you with your VA disability claim, you can reach out to me through the links below. I'm Al Walsh. Thanks for watching.